Brendan Leslie, everybody. Now,
Brendan, yes.
How are things going with you?
Pretty good.
Nice and close with the mic. That's the best way it works. So, Brendan Leslie, I don't know where to start. Let's start with what you did before you started doing this, and then we'll get into it. You worked for a TV station.
Yeah, so I've worked at several TV news stations as a reporter. Most recently, I was a TV news reporter for Wink here in Fort Myers. So, got a pretty good lay of the land, and then went about independent as a journalist about a year ago.
Where did you do at Wink, or how long were you there?
I was at Wink for about a year, and I was just a hard news TV reporter.
And you go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to ask. So, what prompted you after a year to kind of branch out on your own? What was?
Well, when I left Wink, I wasn't initially going to end up continuing reporting. I was looking at other career fields, and it just dawned on me after I left Wink that I still had a really strong following after my reports with John Heim down here. Yeah, I got a lot of really close fans because of how hard I reported on John Heim.
How long have you two been friends?
John Heim and I?
Yeah.
We're still friends. He still talks about me, but I still talk about him apparently. So this is a friendship that just will never die.
Well, he stalked our page for the longest time. It's like a train wreck with John. I mean, you hate to have to block him because sometimes he monopolizes everything, but everybody wants to get in on the act when John is around. So I can understand.
Not anymore. He's really lost a huge amount of pull he's had because he has no control over that.
He had pull at one point.
Well, he had that group with 100,000 people in it, and now
how do people get so duped?
Unfortunately, it's social media. I deal with it every single day. Every single report I put out there is combating just the clickbait, and everything's clickbait these days. That was part of the reason I didn't really get the answer why I left news. It's not for me. I'm not going to say local news is a bad thing. I think national news is a terrible thing, but
sure.
I think local news is especially in the pandemic, they've been doing a great job at not sensationalizing things, but you see it a lot, especially with news press. The headline is doom and gloom. When you click on the article, it really isn't. And they do that so that you click it, get on, more views, more money, way to stir the pot to get more people in. That's not me. I can't do
stirring
that.
the pot really is there's a what?
I'm going to move folks now because on this bright sunny day, you're going to see a huge lightning bolt come down and hit him right in the back.
We're going to have to have a discussion after the show, because I think that you're misrepresenting me to our 9 listeners.
You can't even keep a straight face.
So
go ahead.
Tell us about the inner workings of Wink. Why do you think that they're clickbait?
Wink, not necessarily as much. The biggest problem is news press. But with Wink,
nice try to rope him into that, though.
What I could say about Wink is there was just too many disagreements between me and the bosses where it wasn't a healthy working relationship. Mm-hmm. Whether I was right or whether I was wrong, I'm not going to get into, but
so you left on your own.
We mutually agreed. It was no bridges were burned. It was a mutual agreement. We decided that it was best for both parties moving forward.
So you get a severance, nice package to go.
Oh no,
golden parachute.
Nope. That was part of the problem. Part of the reason why I was so desperate to find any type of work right after.
What does a news reporter in Fort Myers make?
Everyone thinks we make a lot of money. The ladies that
I hope you don't. I hope you don't. I don't want to. I'm jealous if you do.
We don't at all. The ladies in the industry, especially in this market, a lot of them I'm friends with, the reporters, and all the time everyone's always like, "Oh, who does your makeup? Who does this?" And they're like we do it all,
right.
And we don't really get paid a whole lot. Although this is a bigger size market.
You didn't answer the question. You're beating around the bush. Tell me how much you made.
I don't want to give it away because I don't want to
give a range.
I don't want it to compare to. I don't want other people to have their salaries out there because they like it keeping it private. But it's not a lot.
30, 40,000 or higher.
Okay, so it can range anywhere from high 20s to to 60s, depending on your experience. Depending on
you can make 20 at a podcast. Who did you make up today?
I'll tell you this. My first TV news job in Pennsylvania, I made $28,500.
Which city?
Wow.
Lancaster County.
That's a small market.
It's actually a bigger market than here, but because they're a part of the Harrisburg market.
Okay, gotcha.
So it's Lancaster, Harrisburg. But I only covered Lancaster County, so my viewership was pretty
Gotcha.
small. Yeah.
All right. So let's get into what you're doing
No,
now.
not yet. Chill out, dear. Chill out. I got this. Don't worry. I'll cue you when you're ready.
Oh my goodness.
So the new you took a shot at the news press. I didn't want to let that go. Why did you take a shot at the news
I'll
press?
take shots at the news press all day, every day. They know
Why?
exactly who I am.
Why?
Okay, first of all, they're failing of an organization. They're slowly downsizing. Naples Daily News has become the focus, and I think because of that is why these errors get through. I don't know if they have. I'm not going to assume, but I'm going to question that there's not enough people, checks and balances, checking over their stuff before they put it out to air. It's too many articles where you're just like, wait, that's not right. Why do I have to be?
Give me an example of an article that was
So you're
wrong.
not talking about typos. You're talking,
I'm talking
about content
blatant
and
misleading.
okay.
Yes. So the most recent we'll talk about. The most recent story I did, taking a shot at News Press. They reported their headline was, it wasn't wrong, but it was misleading, and it's just to stir the pot and get people clicking and worried. A week before the county commissioners were deciding on opening the parks, News Press comes out with this article, and the headline reads something along the lines of 4 reported deaths in Lee County, for making it the single deadliest day on record. Something along those lines. That makes you think that yesterday, so say this came out on Thursday, that makes you think Wednesday 4 people died of COVID-19, right?
Is that the story that Brian Hammond was going back and forth with the reporter on? And the reporter,
Brian Hammond goes back and forth with a lot of
he does. He knows he's a social media expert. He knows what he's doing on the Facebook.
That's because
anyway.
he's a TV news guy. He knows.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was in TV news for 10 years. He worked at Wink too, I think, and Fox as well.
Gotcha.
I even knew that.
Well, before my time, dear. So, you get into it with the news press reporters and stuff. I don't mean fist fights and things like that. Have you had a fist fight with any?
No.
Did it come to that?
No. They no one ever approaches me in person. It's only on through the keyboard.
Yeah.
The keyboard warriors is what we call them.
I've heard that before.
They
not about you. I mean, in general.
I've had a couple of their big publishers and editors go at it with me on Twitter. Actually, one of them was like, "Yeah, you have a lot of potential. I hope you kind of dial it back a little bit." I was like, "Why? Because I'm attacking your organization?"
Right.
So go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So you went out on your own and you did this the pizza tasting thing, right? Is that what you started with?
So at first I was just like, I wanted to keep my personality known in the area, and Dave Portnoy and Barstool Sports are my favorite. And
oh, no way. I can't believe you said that.
I love them.
Worst.
They are
bottom of the barrel. Bottom of the barrel.
Portnoy is not a good pizza reviewer, but
he did start that. You're right.
Yeah, but he's very good at collecting fans and being anti-establishment, anti-media. He's kind of like how I am. And so I did the pizza reviews just to keep my name in the community. And then a few weeks after seeing how well received they were, I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll keep reporting again, and I'll get back into that. And then I like doing the pizza reviews because it shows my fun side, my softer side. It's not all hard politics and taking shots at people and yada yada yada.
So
how much pizza have you eaten?
No, that's not healthy.
About 40 places since August.
And it's good publicity for the restaurants.
The owners, you know what? I don't even care when anyone ever says, "Oh, you're a Portnoy ripoff." I've had over a dozen owners come back to me and tell me personally thank me and say, "Wow, we keep getting customers coming in saying, we saw the review, we want to come try it."
So you brought the followers with you from the TV station and then built it from there.
Yeah. And it was really minimal. When I left Wink, I only had 500 followers on the page. Now I got over 5,000.
5,000. Shit.
Wow.
Oh, sorry. We only have 2,600, dear. How did you get 5,000?
It's just
What's
constant.
You've got to work it.
Yeah. I fought tooth and nail for every single follower I've gotten.
So now you launched this thing this week. The Uncover Southwest Florida, right? So what's this going to be?
Yeah, so for months I was saying, if you look at all my, I call them vlogs, but those are like my news stories. I'm always like, Brendan Leslie with Uncovering Southwest Florida. What Uncovering Southwest Florida is my brand. And I finally, it took a little bit. We had to collect the funds and stuff to get a designer and create the logo, and also soon to be a website that will be launching in the very near future.
When you say collect the funds, what do you mean by that? Like
just me working my money, getting my money.
Okay, so what are you just asking people for?
Sponsors and investors.
Yeah, no, I do like sales and marketing for a couple people. I do side jobs of editing videos and stuff like that.
Got other jobs.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay,
It takes a little bit to add up the extra funds on top of also just paying for a regular life. So I finally was able to get a designer to put it all together. And I figured it was a great reminder to people. It was I used it as my way to like kind of re-up my contract, quote unquote, you want to say, or my commitment to Southwest Florida. And I would say the dedication in the website and the logo is a good reassurance of that.
So what was the first story that you kind of uncovered? Not the one from yesterday. Was there one before that, or yesterday was the one you
John
did?
Heim.
John Heim. Okay, so you went for the big fish because you knew you were going to get. He's like a clickbaiter.
Well, the thing with John Heim is when I went after him, I was new to the area and no one knew me, and I had nothing to lose. I've been told, I'm not going to say names, but I've been told by other reporters or people in the news industry in this market is they didn't want to go after John Heim because they were afraid of what was going to happen. When I went after John Heim and I did the reports, I put out nothing but facts out there, and Wink's phones blew up every single day for weeks, hundreds of calls. Fire Brendan. He's all that jazz. It was a scary thing.
Because people believed in John Heim?
No, because he had a strong following. The kickback they didn't want.
Gotcha.
See, that's the beauty about me. I don't care about kickback. I can handle it. It's fun to me.
When you say you don't care about kickback, that means you're going to piss people off along the way. So let me give you an example.
It's because we're in a guarded society now with social media.
I don't even understand what you said, but let me give you the example that I'm talking about.
Please, before he forgets, because
Yeah,
it'll
I will
happen.
forget. I'm old, way old. So you did a report with Anita Saracita, who was the mayor at the time, and Tom Torgerson. It looked like you were at Tom's house.
Yep, Margaritaville.
I've never been to Tom's house.
It's a nice house.
I have.
She's been to his house. I've never been to Tom's house. But anyway, you did the report about Margaritaville, which we all agree with. We're all on board with that. And anyway, but then I think I saw you call the town council, was it
Probably
dictators?
dictators, yep.
Yeah.
The
So
new town council and the new mayor. Yeah,
well,
I'm not too much of a fan of him.
Does she fit into that category, being that she was the mayor when she closed down the beach?
See, at the time, it's so hard to discuss this, but at the time, we had Dr. Anthony Fauci coming out and saying 200,000 Americans are going to die if we don't do X, Y, and Z. Okay. At that time, that's what we had. So
The decision was made with the information that they had at the time.
I don't think I asked you the question.
Well, I'm just chiming in
he's
here.
He's a
got it.
well-oiled reporter. He doesn't need somebody answering for him.
you have to go off of the data and the information you have before you, and say what you want about Dr. Fauci. When he says that, that was very alarming.
Right.
So was it the right move to shut it down? I don't know if I necessarily agree, because there's something about the sunshine and having the outdoors that's great. And I do trust the personal responsibility of individuals, especially with our civil liberties and everything. But they made the decision off the information they had. Now, fast forward a month later, we got this new council and the new mayor. And the fact that they were being wishy-washy, we're going to open up the beach, but you have to wear a mask and you can't sit. It's only for walking. But the data at the time right now says Lee County is nothing like outside in New York or the Northeast or Michigan.
So is that a yes or a no for Anita?
She is not a dictator.
Okay.
No.
So you think that this current council is a board of dictators?
They kind of backtracked their decision real quick. Probably because of Lee County commissioners kind of stepping on their toes a little bit and opening up their access points. So it was like, how can you enforce the crazy rules that the Fort Myers Beach came out with? So I'm glad that they rescinded it quickly. And I will say for now, the council and the mayor, we're okay.
Have you talked to the mayor? Have you
Not
you
yet.
have a good
You know what?
relationship?
I wonder if I'm on his radar after that.
Oh, okay.
I don't
Well,
hold
you might be
punches,
on
like
a
I said.
list. I don't know about a radar,
Yeah.
but you might be on a list.
I'm on a lot of lists.
Yeah.
He
There you
might,
go.
He might talk to you about your little project that you're working on there. So then the question I wondered about when I'm watching what you're doing, and I understand how much work goes into your editing, and you're constantly editing that video that you're putting up there. It's not one take. You know, you have some kind of screen behind. It looks like you're in your den or something. You got the screen behind you with your logo.
So I had a little technical difficulties. I put up a story yesterday. I bought a new mic. Of course, the mic crapped out on me.
Did you get it from Town Hall here?
No, I got it from Best Buy. I'm very, very upset, and it's not easily accessible to do an exchange right now.
Nope.
And then so I now have like an office because my roommate moved out, so I have an extra room. So I set up a little mini studio that
Do you have a house on the beach?
No.
Okay.
I wish I
We'll
had that
skip
much
that
money.
question then.
And so your background, though, you have a background at video editing. Is that what you went to school for?
I went to school for journalism. Believe it or not, my video editing is actually one of my weakest skills.
Oh.
My best skill is collecting the information, putting the story together.
So are you cutting a piece and then running behind the counter and editing it and cutting another piece? And how do you are you just recording the whole
So
thing?
basically my process is I have my interviews, right? I cut up all the sound that I think will be best, and I have it in a project, and then I write the script to the sound. And then once I have that, I set up the camera, and then I go sit down, and then I just hit record, and I just roll tape. I have a little prompter that I can see right below the camera, and then I just keep going.
So
over
it's just
and over.
you there. You're just okay.
100% me.
Yeah.
I got a little. My friend helps me for the pizza reviews, but that's about it.
So how many stories have you kind of put up so far, besides the pizza reviews?
Dozens.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this like this is a full-time commitment for you, and the other stuff you're doing part-time?
I'm gonna say everything. It all works off each other. It's all one big commitment to me, because I view me working all my side jobs and doing the sales and marketing in the area. That's part of making sure my reporting goes. So I consider it all one job.
Well, I guess I was wondering time-wise. Like, so you're working like 20 hours a day?
I probably there's some weeks that I put about 60 hours in a week. Yeah.
Okay.
You know a guy named Gary Granert? He says, "You go, Brandon."
Nope, that's my uncle from Long Island.
Oh, no kidding.
Yeah.
Are you from Long Island?
Yes.
So am I.
Yep.
Where are you from?
I quickly escaped that liberal hell.
Yes. Well, it wasn't because it was liberal. It's because it was cold. But where were you from?
I grew up in Bohemia, Ronkonkoma area.
Oh, okay. That's way out there, isn't it?
Middle part, right near
We're
Lake
from,
Ronkonkoma.
what are you looking at me like? Like you know Long Island?
I know.
Long Island
I've at
talk
least
here.
heard
From,
of that.
Corman, Islanders or Rangers?
Neither. Devils.
Oh, wow.
But I stopped watching hockey because it started getting boring on me, and all the great Devils teams of the earlier in the 2000s are all gone.
Brodeur,
Brodeur.
Sure, I
Now
remember
I'm
him
having
too.
a brain fart now here.
So, Giants or Jets?
It's the worst question ever. Jets.
Oh God,
I'm very
0 for
humble.
2. Yeah, I was a Ranger full on a street full of Islander fans when the Islanders won 4 Stanley Cups in a row. That you got a date or something? Something going on?
Please,
No.
you
Could
were
be
looking
somewhere.
at your
I'm
phone.
Oh, no, somebody keeps calling me.
I was getting texts. I actually just said, "Great job! You're doing a great job on that." I'm like,
Awesome.
"Oh, cool."
Well, you're a
We're-
reporter.
we're-
I mean, what do you mean he's doing a great
Right,
job? He's doing a
right.
normal job.
I-
It's his
Believe
job.
it or not, this is actually uncomfortable for me. This is
You
out of
looked
my.
a little nervous. At
You
the
did.
beginning.
I
Yeah,
know.
was worried.
I don't
was
get
like, this guy's
interviewed.
going to be an easy interview because he's a TV
We
guy.
just talked
Well, I
about
feel
this
like I've been
before.
pretty good with actually talking.
You've been good, but I was like,
noticed
I
it,
could
yeah.
notice. I was like,
I'm not interviewed. I don't get interviewed.
So-
I interview the people.
Yeah, good point. So you did all these stories, and so how are you making money at this?
He just said his
No,
side job.
no, I don't mean that. How are you making
I'm
money
pretty
at
broke.
this?
I'm pretty broke right now.
So you
Money is just an object that you can replace at any point.
no, I can't
in your
replace money. I don't know where that
But it's
saying came from.
my dad. If you go, people every time they walk into my house, the thing that they say is, "Wow, you have nothing. You're very minimal."
I love minimalism.
That's my personality.
Yeah.
I I'm not making a whole lot of money right now, and it's crazy to think what I'm doing. But you know what? Someday down the line, I might make a lot of money off of this because of this.
Well, I guess that was his point. So, do you have any sponsors or?
I'm actually going to be starting to look into that. I didn't want to go to companies and say, "Hey, sponsor and pay me to give you shout outs," but I have not enough followers or audience. Now that I have a great following, and they're a very supportive following, they're a very strong following. If you look at my posts recently, the traction has just been it's been awesome. So now I have more of a product to go to people and be like, "Hey, if you want to work something out, maybe we can." I was thinking about doing it in the pizza reviews. Maybe have a representative from the company come with me to be a guest reviewer, or they give me their product to just show real quick, something like that. It's in the works. I'm thinking about it.
So I will continue here now because now Mr. Big Shot left in a rush. So the latest story, now the most recent story, can you give people a little bit about what that's about? Because
The one I posted last night.
Yeah, he let me know who was coming on that you were coming on the show this morning at 6:00. So I was able to at least do a little bit of research. And I will say I did listen to the video a couple of times because there's a lot of players in it. So I think that was the thing. Like you almost, not that I'm giving you a suggestion, but for me, I was like, I need a whiteboard to put who's on what side. So go ahead, tell them a little bit
that's
about
the problem with TV news. Another reason why I left. They give us 1 minute and 20 seconds to explain a complicated story.
Right.
With what I'm doing, I have the freedom to do. One of my reporter friends watched the story and she was like, "Wow, that was awesome." And she's like, "That's the beauty of you not being in TV news. You can have the 9 minutes to explain what's going on."
So go ahead and tell us real quick about this. You took a shot at Captains for Clean Water.
Oh yeah.
Go ahead.
Should we wait for her?
No, go ahead.
All right. So, Captains for Clean Water all week, along with Everglades Foundation and U.S. Congressman Brian Mast on the East Coast, have been posting all this stuff about trying to get people to sign a petition to oppose what is known as the Savings Clause. Okay. At first, it's like, all right. And at first, I didn't really know. I don't know what average Joe and Sally on the street knows what a savings clause is, or you know what I mean?
Right.
So they put out this clip all it said was, "Hey, special interests are trying to manipulate the water and it's going to cause more toxic algae. Sign our petition." They don't actually explain anything. And I'm like, wow, that's incredibly irresponsible right there. So I had a problem with that. But then I had dozens of experts come to me because they don't go to the media anymore. So like they're buddy with all the nonprofits out there. Same with John Heim. John Heim was glorified in the media for a long time before I came around.
So the gist of your story was what about Captains for Clean Water?
They spreaded misinformation according to the experts, and I had over a dozen experts say that. And I had 3 in my story say that. And then when I went to Captains for Clean Water and said, "Hey, you're spreading misinformation. We're not going to about this."
Put the headphones on for a second. Dan Andrews knew you were coming on the show. He's on the phone with us right now. Dan, say hello.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
Good. Dan, you saw the report that was on Facebook yesterday. Dan is from Captains for Clean Water, just in case anybody didn't know. This is the first time he's ever been on the show. Dan, what did you think of the report?
Oh, he didn't like it.
Oh, that was an interesting one. So I want to, first of all, thanks for having me on the show. I've been out tarpon fishing all week, but I'm not messing around with the weekend crowd. So I got all the time in the day to discuss this, and I'd be happy to. So we caught wind of this issue up in Washington a little over a week ago. And where Brendan really got this wrong was we're not opposing the savings clause. We're opposing changing federal law to tie the Lake Okeechobee regulation schedule to the savings clause. And that's really, that discredits this whole report because, the savings clause is important. There are a lot of important details to it, but tying the Lake Okeechobee regulation schedule to the savings clause, it significantly changes how water is managed in the Lake Okeechobee system. Everything from the amount of discharges we get to the amount of water that's allowed to flow down through the Everglades to Florida Bay. So that was the issue we had, was that there was an effort going on in Washington to make this change that would change the prioritization of who gets water when and why. And I grew up here. I was born and raised here in Southwest Florida. Spent most of my time fishing out on the water. Became a fishing guide and gave that up to try to fight for this issue, because the areas that I used to fish have seen a huge long-term decline just from the way water is managed. We have too many discharges and we don't get enough water in the dry season when we need it to maintain salinity in the upper estuary. And I've seen all these efforts that have been in place for a long time to try to fix these issues. A lot of my charter clients that have been fishing this area as long as I've been alive have told me, "Hey, this is nothing like what it was 30 years ago, nothing like what it was 40 years ago." So that's why we started Captains for Clean Water. And then I get a text the other night from Leslie Brandon. Let me pull it up here on my phone. And right off the rip, I had been kind of concerned with the bias in some of the reports that I've seen that he's done, which is okay. I mean, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, whatever. But when when the first line of the conversation is, "Hi Dan, uncomfortable conversation we have to have." That's a pretty good indicator that he has already picked the direction he wants to go in the story. I mean, a real investigative reporter.
Dan, I'm going to cut in on there. It's uncomfortable because you and me had a good professional relationship up until I went independent because for whatever reason you're not liking my stuff. Why it was uncomfortable, let me stop you before you mislead the viewers, is because I'm upset that we can't continue that professional relationship because I've given you numerous opportunities to defend your plot. If you or Congressman Mass would have done an interview for that story yesterday, it would have been 50-50. It would have been 50% you, 50% those experts. But it's really, really unfortunate that you have to wait until when I do an interview with Beach Talk Radio to defend your point when you could have just done it in the story and I would have given you a fair shake.
Dude, I'd much rather do it live with you than
I would do a live interview with you on my page whenever you want.
No, I'm not giving
the opportunity.
I'll do it on anybody else's platform or not doing it on
so you know what, we'll set up something and we'll do something again and we'll talk about the story because I don't know how much time we're gonna have.
You guys can work that fight out afterward, just so our viewers know. We're just, do you feel like you got everything out, Dan, that you wanted to say, or is there more?
No, I have a lot more because
I said, we could go forever. That's why we should just do it on a separate platform. Not being a little bit childish right now with this.
No, I
don't want to take up this guy's time forever. We can do it a live platform wherever you want.
So when I asked you which experts you had reached out to for the show before I decided what I was going to do, you mentioned that Rich Budell was one of them. And Rich is actually a registered lobbyist for the.
Watch, he's going to say sugar, right? You're going to say sugar? False. He actually represents multiple.
Let him go. Then you can go. Let him go. Then you can go. Let him go.
Brendan,
he's just very misleading.
Out your mouth.
Very misleading.
So he's a registered lobbyist for the Florida Agribusiness Council, which right on their website they say they represent sugarcane
and
farming.
Multiple other agriculture.
Oh yeah, but when I asked you, you said he had zero connection to that industry. And said it was a false narrative that I pointed that out. So there's clearly a connection. That's not zero connection. And, every time I've seen Rich speak in public, at any of these meetings, he's been speaking, representing the sugar industry. I mean, all of his talking points are directly in line with all the other sugar lobbyists. But at the end of the day, this proposal of attaching the savings clause to LORS is going to result in more discharges. And this is the area that I grew up, walking these beaches, catching tarpon and big snook out on the waters here. And, a proposal that's going to put more discharges out there is something that's a serious concern for me and all these local businesses, people that I went to school with, the people that run businesses around here, and I went to school with their kids. And I mean, this is my community and I care a lot about it. And when I see, some political crap going on in Washington, that's going to cause more toxic algae blooms, more fish kills around here, I'm going to fight that because this means everything. Southwest Florida means everything to me.
So when it comes to, whenever I have conversations with people about Dan Andrews and Captains for Clean Water, I always say they are great guys at the end of the day, and they do 100% want the water issues to go away. The problem that I have with the nonprofits that no one talks about, or I should say the people with the bigger followings talk about, is how misleading they can be. We can't go into this water issue completely extreme. Captains for Clean Water, Everglades Foundation focus everything on south of the lake. They want that reservoir. Yes, it's an important proponent, but when you focus on solely south of the lake, what experts say is you're never cleaning the water in the lake and you're never going to get rid of the discharges completely. So why don't you go north of the lake? But no one ever gives any attention to that. That's a whole separate subject we're not going to have. But when you're so focused and extreme with the savings clause, and there's other people that get hurt, and my story, the letter that was sent supporting the savings clause, it is legitimately the only people that are opposing or on Dan's side about this are the Everglades Foundation and all their associated organizations. You got every single utility on the East Coast saying, please give us this water. The Miccosukee tribe of Indians saying, please give us this water. Please support the savings clause. You got to be more balanced. And that's something I say on my page all the time, regardless if you think I'm being biased or not. You got to go into these things with a balanced approach. Same with COVID-19. You can't just shut down the entire country.
So do you think that your reporting on Captain's Clean Water will give them a black eye if enough people watch it? Was that fair to take a shot at them like that? And by the way, everybody, this wasn't a setup. I don't think you. I did not. I did not do this purposely. I sent when I saw your report, 2:00 in the morning. I sent a Facebook message to the website or to the Captains for Clean Water, not knowing that anyone would even read it, and that's why my phone kept going off. But I didn't think you'd mind
no,
because
it's fair game.
Yeah.
I'm fine with it.
So, do you think? Back to the question. Do you think that was that people will look at Captains Clean Water, who I've never heard a negative thing about, but I'm not really in tune to the water as much as other people are. To me, it looked like a shot to the eye. Is that the way you want it to be?
It's not the way I want it to be. I gave him his opportunity, and same with Congressman Mast, to do an interview. And like I said, I would have done it 50-50.
What did I've had an interview with Congressman Mast. What did he say to you?
His people just gave me all this presentations and slides that they think defends their cause. But then when you have
But did you look through them? Maybe
Yes.
they did.
Yeah, and then I sent it to all the people that were opposing them, and every single one of them said, nope, this is BS. So I'm like, how can I support this? I need him to come on and explain it. You know what I mean? I can't just go off of an email.
Dan, do you feel like it was a black eye, or you're not too concerned?
I mean, I'm not concerned at all. It ain't going to hurt us.
If he's not concerned, why is he here right now?
The thing, well, I wanted to Ed invited me on. I wanted to come on here and talk in a live platform. But the other interesting thing about that report is you entirely discredited Brian Mast's response and didn't even share that with the viewer, which shows bias. You know, if you wanted to, present his argument that he sent, that would have been great. It would have been easy. You could have done that. But instead, at the end of your video, you just summed it up and said, he sent me a bunch of stuff that explained it, but whatever, and you didn't show it or didn't even read a line from
because
it.
I had 12 experts all saying that it's BS, unfortunately.
Yeah, well, I bet you I could find you 20 more that agree with that point of view. I mean, the sugar industry has a lot of people.
I want 20 more that have no ties to the Everglades Foundation, and then I'll take them seriously.
Okay, yeah, I mean, you can, if you want to count experts and judge all your things just based on tally marks, do it. But I mean, we've got Kevin Ruane, you've had him on your little.
I have no personal ties to
Brandon.
anyone. It's just
and Kevin Ruane, our mayor of Sanibel, who's led the charge on water quality, absolutely led the charge from the local government perspective. I can't think of any other elected official, at that city or county perspective that has spent anywhere near as much time or listened to experts as much as Kevin Ruane has. And he has been appointed by Governor DeSantis to the South Florida Ecosystem Restoration Task Force. Mayor Ruane, in his opening comments, absolutely lit this issue on fire, saying this is a huge threat. Governor DeSantis has multiple times called for keeping the lake as low as we can in the dry season without hurting.
Okay, hold on.
Water supply.
Yes, that is very true. It is definitely an important proponent to keep the lake low to avoid discharges, but not too low. And then we have a bad drought, and now you have every single town and city on the East Coast who rely on Lake Okeechobee for that drinking water or to keep their drinking water supply not tainted with salt water, struggling, and that is why they're all coming out in support. This isn't Sugar versus Everglades Foundation. This is all the cities and towns on the East Coast needing this water against Everglades Foundation.
Yeah, and just so you know, if you look at the total amount of water supply in the system, the total amount that's used, the sugar industry uses half of the public water supply.
It's a little less than half. It's not half.
It's okay. What is it? 47%.
I think it's about 40 to 45.
Okay, so they're using 40,
and it's not just
45%.
sugar. It's not sugar. It's the ag community.
No, it's the Everglades agricultural area, the Lake Okeechobee service area, which is about 95 to 99% sugar, depending on the year. Maybe some years it goes down to 90%, but for the vast majority of it, well over 90%, it's sugar. If you look at where all that water goes, there's definitely things that can be put into the Lake Okeechobee System Operating Manual that prioritize, drinking water for people. I mean, that's all what's factored into this. This savings clause has never been applied to LORS ever. I mean, since before there was a comprehensive Everglades restoration plan to now, that's never been there. And the reason that that's happening now is to put, an even greater priority on that water for consumptive users like the sugar industry. They're the biggest winner out of this of any single one. And that's how it's going to negatively impact us.
So let's simplify this a little bit, Dan. because you and me can debate about water issues all day, every day. It's just that much to talk about. The root of the problem of why I did this report was that misleading clip that you put out, the 30-second clip about the language, whatever, the special interests are trying to manipulate the water system. Forget about water, forget about sugar. That clip had no actual information in it, and you just are tricking people into signing your petition because they have no idea what they're signing on to. And then you don't explain yourself until a day or two later in a long interview that you did on Facebook Live. That right there is wrong, and it's irresponsible. And that's what the experts flag.
With you 100%.
You can't.
All right,
disagree
Dan,
with you 100% because everything in that video that we released is 100% accurate.
Has no information,
And
but it has no sources. It has no information.
let him answer, and then we got to wrap it up.
If you click the video, we have a landing page with all the information. If everybody listening can go to captainsforcleanwater.org, you'll see a big banner on the page. And Brendan, I think it would do you a world of justice to go there and
clicked it.
Do some learning yourself. There's a whole page of resource, several hours of videos on there, and you can go on and see specifically how this would affect us, and how it would affect, even keeping the lake higher, which could very well be a result of this if it went through, how that could negatively impact the human health and safety of people living around Lake Okeechobee. So there's a lot to it. If you don't want more discharges, if you want Lake Okeechobee managed a little lower in the dry season, that's what we stand for. It'll give us more capacity for storage once these heavy summer rains hit. Brendan, I don't know if you didn't just do enough investigation on here or what to see some of these ties, especially with Rich Budell, with his representation there. I don't know if you didn't do the
he only talks about Rich Budell, but not my other experts that were in there.
Dan, thanks so much for coming on. Sorry, we're running out of time, but thank you. I appreciate your time, and hopefully we can get you on for a one-on-one interview when you're around the beach.
Yeah, anytime you want, man. Just let me know. Thanks
a lot. Dan from Captains for Clean Water. Honestly, that wasn't a setup. I had no idea that he was going to call. The last time I tried to get them on, I sent a message through Facebook, and they said they were too busy. And they are busy. But when I think what happened when they heard that you were coming on, that my phone was just started ringing at 9:00, which I thought it was a healthy debate. I have no idea what you guys were talking about, but I don't think he believes your report, and I don't think you believe his message that you had in your report. So we really didn't get anywhere except for you got to talk to him. So
I'm happy I got to talk to him and just clarify a little bit. It's not a personal attack against Dan. Like I said before, I personally think Dan is a good person. Let me ask you this: I don't like misleading.
Did somebody put you up to that, or did somebody put you on to that?
I had talks with somebody with the Lake Worth. He was actually in my story.
I saw
Tommy
that.
Stroud.
He put you onto it.
He didn't put me onto it. He's a source. I talked to him. He educates me. That guy knows more than any of me, Dan, or any Everglades Foundation. He knows a lot. He was actually a part of he was one of the stakeholders that put together all these laws back in 2000. And I showed him that clip. I was like, what's going on? Is this true? And he was like, absolutely not. And Tommy Stroud, it's unfortunate. Dan only wanted to harp on one source. Yes, Budell works for a group that works with sugar, but it's not just for sugar, which is what Dan was kind of implying. That's why I had Tommy Stroud. That's why I had Poonam, the utilities director of West Palm Beach. All they care about is their water supply.
Well, if people want to make their own decisions, where should they and can they find the video?
Yeah, it's on my page. I can comment a link on down below after we're done here. And
okay,
yeah, go watch. I have all my research, every single document I used. I posted it all in the comments and in the post itself.
Cool.
I'm not telling people to believe me, and I'm not telling people to believe Dan. Go watch the video. Go watch their videos. Go watch their live interviews and make the conclusion.
Do you think people should still support Captains for Clean Water right now?
I think they should support
with financial donations and money. Would you write a check to them right now?
I would not write a check to them. All
right. Fair enough. Anything else you want to tell us about your shtick now? What you got going on? What's the next report going to be? What are you going to tear down next there, Brendan?
Actually, we're having a positive, happy interview coming up early next week. I talked to Christy McLaughlin, who is a 24-year-old conservative Latina woman running for Congressman Francis Rooney's seat. And she is a big she's very outspoken about how the Republican Party is not just straight white men. And that was a big part of the conversation. She's a fascinating young human, and that's going to be coming up next week, and just talking about her aspirations and whatnot.
And you're on Facebook, and you got the whole YouTube thing going, and the Twitter.
So the website will be coming out in the very near future, and they'll have my YouTube, Twitter, and my Instagram is more of just fun. It's not for work. Pretty convenient that I wore this hat.
Yeah,
we had this conversation. It's called "Make Laco Great Again."
So you're a Trump fan too.
I am not saying that, but everyone thinks it's a MAGA hat, and I'll either get, "Oh my God, that hat's awesome," they're like, "Oh wait, that's not a MAGA hat," or "Oh my God, that hat's horrible." Oh wait, so it starts the conversation.
Gotcha.
I'm a big supporter of getting clean water into Lake O, which is the liquid heart of the Everglades.
Cool. Well, thanks for coming on, and I appreciate you going through that, even though you didn't know it was coming. I didn't know it was coming, but thank you so much.
Hey,
it's the first conversation I've ever had with Dan, by the way. First conversation.
It's because I'm here.
Thank you for that. Thank you for bringing him on.
Yeah.
So let's stay in touch, and maybe we can start a podcast.
Oh, yeah, that'd be great.
Right.
Thank you very much.
No shaking hands or anything. Brandon Leslie, everybody, check him out on Facebook. Watch the video if you have some time. Thanks a lot. I'd love the pink headphones.
Now. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Oh, I just realized that these are pink.
Yeah. You look great in pink. Don't worry about it.
I think they're white, actually, but with the umbrella.
Thanks a lot, Brendan. Appreciate your time. All right, dear. And you got skedaddled right out of there. And I know what you thought. You thought that was a setup. It was not a setup. I thought it was great radio.